right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to House Music Chats. Today's episode is a special one. If you ever lost track of time on the dance floor and you need to see what's up and you want to get with one of the boys, he's usually around. Good one to hang with, good one to talk with. Today, I am sitting down with lifelong DJ, party promoter, someone who's lived through different eras of house music, different scenes, different crowds, and someone who I love dearly with my boy G Dubs Gunny. What's cracking?
What up, Big C? I just want to say thank you for having me on, man. It's a pleasure and an honor, and thank you for the kind words. The feeling is mutual, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. We've been able to throw down in some pretty good parties together. Not just together on the on the lineup, but also we've had chances to play back to back and stuff like that together. Always fun, good time with you.
For sure, man. Always a pleasure, especially when we do the neighbors back to back.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm looking at one of our pictures, our Polaroids up there, up on my wall of fame up there.
Yeah,
But
you're on
yeah,
the
man.
grid.
Uh, so how did house music first find you, bro? Or how did you first find house music?
Man, high school, just like many of us. Started off at the raves, when they always had like the two rooms or
Yeah.
three rooms, depending on
Yeah.
what party you're at.
Uh-huh.
Somehow I always found my way to the house room because then back then they would have circles and you see the groovers, dancing and grooving to house music. And I was a break dancer. So I
Right.
would go and battle in the circles.
Yeah.
Um, and then from, DJs weren't as they are today, right? They weren't front and center. They were hidden somewhere usually. But I started noticing like which DJs I was like. I was like, man, this guy's good. Like you could groove to him all night. So then I would go and look for him and find the DJs. Back then it'd be like Marco Max or John Williams or Mr. Kool Aid. Whoever was playing in the house room at times. Rest in peace, Michael Cook.
Yeah, man.
Um, and then it just evolved from there. Once I got like 16, once I turned like 16, 17, then I started saying, okay, I could try to go to the after hours. And that's
Right.
where the real house music was.
Yeah. Those dudes weren't messing around when we first like experienced that shit, right? We're like, yo,
Yeah,
these dudes
man.
ain't messing around. These guys are throwing tracks at us. These guys are making people break their backs. These people are they're making people put baby powder on the floor, like any way that they can like make their moves even more. They were doing it right, and that was all like due to the guy playing the music or the girl playing the music.
Yeah, man. Um, so many stories that I could share about, I'd have to wait outside for hours because I wasn't 21 yet for somebody to come finally walk me in. And they were like, stay behind me. Don't
Right.
look at, don't talk to nobody. Or walking in through the back door. Like,
Yeah.
here, grab this speaker, pretend you're helping.
What do you remember what the first record that you got, or the first no not, like what was the first record that like really got you like hooked, like yo, this is this is my sound, this is my scene, this is where I'm gonna be at. What's the first you say like that got gunny, like
That hooked me.
yeah.
Um, Man, it was Rob Falcon every now and then. That
Yeah,
song it
yeah.
hit me. I was like, just like how like dark and mysterious it was, and the bass
Hmm.
line, the everything about that record was just man. Every time I would hear it, I was just like, I don't care what I was doing. Nine times out of ten, I was already on the dance floor.
Right.
But once it came on, that was it. It was like it
Yeah.
was set the party off to the next level.
Nice. What were you always in the house, or did like your like sound like did it evolve like I know it's been called techno, it's been called all kinds of shit, it's been called happy hardcore, it's been called all this stuff. Like was it always like that house, like that deep house sound, like that like because the sound has evolved, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, from
Yeah.
when we were young. Um, was it always that for you, or was there like a different style? So,
Well, when I came from hip hop.
yeah.
I grew up in hip hop. I was a break dancer, auditioned to come out in movies and stuff. I was part of a breaking crew in Compton. So when I discovered raves when I was like 14, going on 15 that summer,
Mhm.
I would go to the house room, to the hip hop rooms, and I would just be in the hip hop rooms.
Right.
I'm listening to Mark Love, DJs like that. And my cousins, who were girls, they're the ones who were into the rave music, and they come find me, like, come over here with us. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm good, like crazy hippie music or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It was all techno in my, back then. I didn't know the difference. But one time we were at a party called Techno Flight. Remember Techno Flight? I was
Yeah,
at the Screws Goose.
Bruce Cruz, yeah.
Yeah, so we went there, and there wasn't a hip hop room. So I was like, dang. So I was kind of forced to listen to it, and it was like breakbeat techno back then.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, this has the breaks to it,
yeah,
way faster than hip hop,
yeah.
and that's where it kind of hooked me.
Yeah, that boom,
Here,
pop, pop, ba pop, boom, pop,
yes.
pop. Yeah, like that
So
drum, like the funky drummer, but just sped up.
yeah, sped
Yeah,
it way up.
yeah, sped away.
So that was the introduction where I really grasped to it, and then started like really, um, you know, was it like gravitating towards the electronic music. And then from just going, to different events, then that's when they started. I started being more open to going to different rooms, such as house rooms, techno rooms,
Mhm.
and then, yeah, like I said, like when I was about 16, um, my I guess my ears matured a little bit more, and I started feeling the four and the four beat because I started getting away from breakdancing and wanted to do what the other dancers were doing, which is like up rock,
Up rock, yeah, like that up
like
rock movement, up
yeah, and more fluid
mhm.
um,
Not just
movements.
getting down to the ground and,
Yeah, not just going on the ground. Although,
actually, like setting that up, like getting to that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like grooving into the groove and shit. Yeah,
right, exactly.
totally,
So
totally.
that's where it kind of evolved from. And then again, some of the DJs that we grew up to didn't just play house music, right?
Oh, hell no.
They were playing everything, and
Hell
house
yeah.
was part of it.
Hell yeah.
So, eventually as the years started going by, my ears were maturing more and more, and then I started really just flowing with the house music.
Right. Dope. Um, let me see. What was it like? What was the community like when you first stepped into it? Like what was your like what's going on here? Like, what was it like during your time when you first started?
Um, when I first started going, again, I was a teenager, I was an athlete, I played sports. So I didn't really partake into a lot of the extracurricular activities that a lot of people were doing.
Mhm.
I was really there for the music. And because I was there for the music, I also gravitated and started meeting people who were also dancers. And the community of dancers that I would meet on a dance floor, they were cool, all over Southern California. And then I just started kind of networking with dancers, and everyone that I met that was a dancer, either they were competitive, they were still about the community, or they were about like learning new steps from each other or new, different whatever it was. So the community was very welcoming. At large, the community overall, it was really a plur community.
No, totally.
Uh, and being so young and the actual culture of dance, electronic dance music being so young back then, it was just really more free. There was no gatekeeping. There was no nothing, man. We were just all there for the music. So
Yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
pure. It was really pure back then. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. It was all the
Pure,
great things.
pure plur.
Yeah.
It
There you
was
go.
pure plur for real, and the plur was pure
It
too.
was,
It was,
man. It
it
definitely
was
was.
it was with good intentions, and people did it for community and somewhere to get away. Get away to. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of escapism was going on, and you know what I
Hmm.
mean.
Hmm.
So yeah, man. You said Kool Aid and Malcolm X and all them. Who were the DJs or the crews that you really looked up to back then? You seen them like because there was crew like they were like real party crews. It wasn't just like one DJ now like books 10 other DJs and stuff. There was like whole crews and you guys, you and your boys ended up becoming like one of the main crews, you know what I mean? But who were the crews that you saw that you like really like looked up to in the deep?
Um, yeah, some of the people I looked up to and who were major influences, and who I was like, if I saw them throwing the party, I knew it was going to be a good party. Let me see if I can remember them. Well, of course, Latin Underground, just
Yeah,
because
totally.
where I grew up and where I lived in Downey, Latin Underground. They were next level. They were trendsetters. They were the ones who were doing masses before masses were considered a thing.
Yeah,
And every member of their crew was always welcoming. They were always super cool. They never, again, gatekeeped or anything. Like, they were always willing to be, share knowledge, put you on a guest list. Like, cause I didn't have, I was broke back in high school.
right.
So, I wanted to get in. So I made friends with everyone, especially like with Dr. Cisco, rest in peace, Mr. Peabody. So there was a few DJs that were throwing parties as well, but that also worked collaboratively. But once I got more into the east side, it was like Double Hit Mickey's, which is Kool Aid and Destructo.
Right.
That I knew if they saw their flyer, it was going to be something. CPU 101. There were some of the major influences for
Rest in
me.
peace, Robert.
Yeah. Excuse me. Um, Go Ventures, man. I got to give props to Reza. They were next level. Him, Tony K, Marty, their entire crew.
Mhm.
They were doing from backyard parties to clubs to raves. I mean, they were doing it all.
Mhm.
And not just at the rate they were doing it, but the care and the love that they put into it, it really showed. And to
Yeah.
me, when you see these DJs put the love and the care into their events and going above and beyond and creating props out of nothing, just to create kind of a fantasy land, it meant a lot to me to see these people do it. And that when I started finally deciding to do shows, I was emulating what they were doing, because that's what I grew up to and what I saw. So I was like, we got to create props, we got to
Yeah.
create,
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. You had to
Uh,
like you wanted to provide it like those guys really like provided environments for us. You know
mhm,
what I mean? Not just
mhm,
um here's a warehouse, here's the DJ, here's the bar, here's you know what it was more than that. It was a
mhm,
whole production. You
mhm.
know what I mean? It wasn't just like plug and play shit like now. You know what I mean? It wasn't just uh, man, for as big of a production it was, you miss it when you just see like somebody rolling like some self-powered stuff. Like, where's the amp rack and where's the guy with on the mixing board and all that? And it's crazy that they used to bring all that shit too, to the
Yeah,
parties. You know what I mean?
yeah. You touched on one thing that, like, back then there was no bar. They
No.
used to
Oh
have
yeah,
like
yeah,
smart bars. Remember that?
yeah,
Smart
yeah,
bars
yeah, yeah,
and oxygen bars,
yeah,
and people
yeah,
walked around handing out water and oranges. And
yeah.
so alcohol really didn't get introduced until the after hours with the 21 and over. But at the raves, they didn't want to take the risk of getting shut down by serving
Right,
alcohol to
right,
underage kids.
right. Nice. Yeah, man. Let's see. Um, have you ever had to like just like in the middle of the night, like during your DJ set, like just have to like con- completely like switch up your set from like where you started at to just it like having to go a whole other place? Like, have you ever had to do that like mid set? Just like because you, I don't know, maybe you wanted to freak them out or you wanted to like just keep them on their toes or something. Is it something that you would like something that you would do like that?
Um, a lot of it switching the sound or the tempo or the energy had a lot of it to do with reading the crowd.
Yeah.
You depending on where you're playing, if you're you start off without like having a, your set or whatever, and you're just kind of winging it in a good way where everything is just like, oh, let me do this track, let me do this track,
Hmm.
versus going down your playlist. You read the crowd and you're like, oh shoot, all right, they're not really reacting to this, so let me change it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, even to just really um, step outside the norm, I would change it up just to really get the energy going
Mhm.
or to work the energy period.
How do you know when you're like truly like locked in, bro? Like when you're like, oh, I got these motherfuckers. Like they're eating out the heads. I know because I seen you at LIB before, like Doc and all them when it was like Doc, Patricio, and Dan, and you played right before them. I was
Yeah,
like, I forgot who I was standing next to. I was like, this fool's locked in right now. G Dubs is like he locked in, threw away the key. He's got these peeps like in his hand right now, and it was a dope thing to see. But how do you know when you're locked in,
for me, it's a feeling, right? And the feeling is looking at the crowd and knowing and seeing everybody's dancing, not just few people here. They're not just kind of wobbing. When you
Yeah.
see the crowd just moving,
Mhm.
and like, okay, we're there now. Like, all right, now it's time to put it into third gear, then fourth gear, then fifth
Yeah,
gear,
yeah,
and then you cruise, and then you break it down a little bit. But once you feel that with the crowd, and you feel that symbiotic relationship happening with the energy, for me, that's when I can tell, like, all right, we're locked in here. Like,
yeah,
it's time. Like, and
yeah.
I know because I've seen you do the same thing. So
Yes. I I
it
got I
just
got hey, I got you when I was at, David and, Darren's loft, at one of the after hours we did there after Deep one time, and I just, was playing, like, some sulfuric like, it was on vinyl too. It was just, like we got, like, housey, very housey after and I just I seen you was moving, I was like, "Oh, I got like it Gunny is moving right now, I got this shit," and everybody else, it was just like they followed your lead. We went
yeah,
till, like, the sun came up, I think. It was
man. What's interesting is I was talking to David's, his rest in peace, his husband. I forget his name.
Darren. Darren.
Yeah, no, 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 not Darren. David, David, right? David.
Yeah, Darren
He's
yeah,
Darren's the one who
Darren
passed.
passed. Yeah.
So I was talking to him, and actually, I brought you up. And I don't know if it was that night you're talking about, but I told him, I was like, man, I remember one time I was at your loft, dude. I was like, and Big C was just dropping it. Like, I was trying to play it cool and, just kind of vibe. I'm like, shy to put my drink down, and I just started tearing it up, man. I'm
Was
like,
that night.
I go, bro, he was killing it. He was
It
like,
was that
oh, yeah,
night.
he was like, "Man, that's one of many nights. He used to always kill it." I was like, "But that night, dude, I'm like, I couldn't help myself. I had
Yeah.
to get out there."
You
Uh,
know, it only that little party only happened every once in a while, so, when it did, it was a special
it
thing.
was, man. You guys had a special thing going on there. I'm
Yeah.
glad that I was able to participate.
Yeah, no, man. It was very community oriented, you know what I mean? Like we passed the word at Deep and we made sure everybody knew at Deep and we made sure everybody told everybody at Deep and then right after that we would just go straight over to their place, which man, we had some good times, man.
Yeah,
How has the music changed since you started? Like the evolution of it, the culture. Like what part like how's it like changed?
you know what? I'm gonna keep it as positive as I can. But I heard I was watching this podcast, with Kenny Dope Gonzalez on it, and he was presented basically the same question but in a different way. And what he was saying really resonated with me because I'm not going to quote him verbatim, but he said a big factor on the music today versus when it was starting to, from now to then, from 88, 89, I think he said, to like now, is everyone nowadays who from big DJs to even to the or producers to the smaller guys, they're really formulating how they're making their music. And what he mentioned, what I agreed with, was they're really playing it safe on how they're going to produce this music. You got, you build, you drop, you build, you drop,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
No, I
you,
heard it was like 4, 8,
yeah,
16, 24,
yes.
32. Yeah, I heard it when you said that.
So, and I was like, oh my God, yes.
I don't think
So
so.
to expand on my own thoughts and what that prompted for me was that, it reminded me of when you would buy records and you would hear these producers back then, like it sounded like they were taking risk, right? Because it wasn't just the regular streamed out beats. They would throw a break beat in there, they would do something that was completely wild to really set the track apart.
Yeah.
And to me, those were taking risk, and that's what drew me to those records, because they were well done and well thought about. Yes, you're going to program your record right and your track, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
but you also have to be risk taking in it. And very few artists these days are taking risks like that just because they want to get the streams, they want to get whatever it is. But that loses a little bit of the soul to me. But thank God we do have people out there like Louis Vega and DJ Spinna and not Afrojack, a Radio Slave.
Yeah.
Then Doc, he's playing with Doc, so I had to go revisit
Yeah.
my
Oh,
collection.
yeah,
Uh,
man.
so yeah, man, it's evolved, and again, there's so many good producers who are doing it right. Mr. V, man, I can't give that guy enough props. He stayed true to his craft, but he's sticking with today. He's always evolving with his craft,
Mhm.
um, but his music is still on point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We love V on this side.
Yeah, man, V is he's a killer.
What is it that what's something people don't realize about we'll go to the throwing of events side of your deal. You've been doing sacred grounds parties now over 25 years, right?
It's
Like
like
what would you
30,
huh?
31,
When
31
did you
years.
have you had your 30th already? Was that the 30th?
Well, we haven't had the 30th because I've been kind of just marinating right now, marinating on it.
But
Everybody's
the big what was the one that you had?
big one was the 20-year anniversary. That was already 11 years ago.
Damn, was
Yeah, so
it?
crazy, right? That's the
Wow.
poster. The
Oh,
poster's right there. That's the
yes.
poster.
Are you serious? That was 11 years ago?
Yeah.
Holy
But
yeah.
yeah, just been
So
marinating on it.
yeah, what is it that people don't people don't realize about like throwing events? The people what are the things that people don't see on our side when,
Oh,
well, what do people don't see when you're putting your events together?
speaking for myself and not in a generalized way, what I believe people don't see when I'm planning events is the care that really goes into it and how well thought out I think about it and put time into really crafting what the event is going to be. And it goes to everything from designing a flyer, making sure the flyer is aligned with the vibe we're creating, making sure the vibe and the flyer are going to be portrayed in the production that we're going to present,
Yes.
making sure the message that the event is about, like there, for us and for me, I've always made sure there was an overall message for the event that we're producing. Return to Paradise, Funky Within, just that's a party, but I'm just throwing,
Yeah.
ideas out there.
Yeah.
But there was meaning to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the creatives who understood, and a lot of the people who attend the events from the heart and who are part of the community and who have invested interest into the community and to those who are producing events like us, they
Mm.
get it and they
Yeah.
understand. And for me, when I see them, and it goes to the old, the nod, when somebody like gives me that nod at the night of the event, like, and I know and I understand that they understand what we're doing and
Mhm.
how we're presenting it and how we're crafting it.
Mhm.
That's a lot of it means a lot.
Right.
But yeah, the creativity, um, and the time that I put into really, I would start right now. Let's say we're in January, and I'm planning a party for September, October already. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I want to make sure I'm putting the care into it that it deserves, because I don't want to just throw an event just to throw an event.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that, you know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So just putting that time and that care to make sure, everything that we can possibly represent in whichever way, visually, audio, message, marketing, it's all going to be dialed in so that people will resonate with it.
Right. Oh, yeah. Totally. I understand every point of that. I totally do, bro. Um, are we in a good era of house music right now? Do you think?
Trying to get me in trouble. You
Be
really
honest,
trying
man. You know.
to. You know what, man? I'm gonna say it from a very creative space,
Hmm.
versus being judgmental, versus pointing fingers, or versus anything like that, right? Because I
Right.
care and I love this. I've been doing it since I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
Um, but the big but. Where it's at right now, and I just actually made a post about it, right? Recently, because I think about this all the time, what the state is in, what can I do differently, to make it, better, or what can I add to it? And it's not better that it's bad, but what can I add to it to increase it in the growth, instead of me feeling like, well, it's stagnant, it's not really growing. Then what the heck can I do to help
Right.
grow it continuously?
Right.
But in the state that I feel that it is in right now, I feel like it's complacent. Um, and what I mean by complacent is, I feel there's not enough creativity that's going into everything that is being presented.
Mhm.
Now, the messages are out there, right? And that's all marketing. The marketing, I can't dog on it. People are learning really how to market their events. But the care that they're putting into it, it's just, you don't feel it. I,
Yeah.
I, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
I feel like people, from flyers to lineups, people are not really invested into doing something that is going to be talked about 10, 15 years from now. Like before, where people are still talking about double hit Mickey's parties. That was 35, 40 years ago almost. Um,
Or
but
even like jujubes. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
exactly.
that block of like Dan Sneak, Derek Carter, Seven Fisher, into, you know, Doc killing it at the end. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
That's something that we'll never forget it. You know. So
Yeah.
I can't think of any parties right now.
I mean, I'm not going to call any events out. Like I said, it's not really what anybody's at fault. It's what is happening as a whole. But
Yeah.
I pray and I believe, the right people are going to start feeling it again. They were like, you know what? Let me do something a little bit different. Let me put a little bit more into it.
Yeah.
And then myself too. I'm not going to sit here and be that guy yelling from the sidelines. It's like, if I'm gonna, have an opinion, then I need to put my actions behind it and put my heart behind it. So
No,
that's why I'm working on curating something, in September for right now, so that I make sure that it's felt across the board and people will understand there is care, and I do still have a love for it. I may not be going out, all the time like I once was, but right now my energy has shifted into doing something other than, the creativity with event production, and also some self care is in there.
oh, totally. self-care is how are we gonna, like, care on the outside and for not, like, taking care of ourselves, you know what I mean? Like, sorry, I'm working on myself right now, I would love to help you out right now, but, I gotta take care of the inside, and no, you're totally doing it right now too. Um,
I
I'm not
appreciate it.
I'm not mad at it. I get to see you when I do, so luckily,
Uh,
luckily, I'm a couple of streets away from
I know we gotta hang out more often,
Yeah,
man, for
yeah.
sure. And it is it's about making time, for those we love and we care about. I do miss some of my friends out there. But they're just a phone call, text away, and I do still communicate with them in text
Mhm.
and phone calls and stuff. But that face to face, it's nothing like giving you a big old butt hug, man. I do miss you, giving you hugs, man, and
Yeah,
you
man.
looking over with you, because you're so much taller than me, and seeing that look you give me, I'm like, there's my boy right there. That's right.
What's, uh can you think of a moment where you're like, "Yeah, this is why I do this shit." Either at one of your own parties or you're out at an event or something, was there one night or one moment where you're like, "Yep, this is why I do it."
Um, that's actually a really great question. And I'm not gonna um, point to somewhere I played at or an event that I threw, but this past summer, I had the pleasure of attending Deep's anniversary party in downtown LA.
Yeah, that was good.
And man, that right there was rejuvenating for me to be able to be there in the front, center, and dance the entire time. You
Hey,
know,
you
um,
did.
uh, I did. I love going back there and mingling with you guys and hanging out and stuff. I love my people, but for some reason, I was called to just dance and enjoy it. I'm very grateful that I did do that because every time I would turn around and just see everybody there having such a great time, and the
Mhm.
smiles and the energy was just so beautiful and flowing. Like there was no negative. I didn't, at least I didn't feel anything. And I made a couple of rounds walking around, talking to people, and shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
I always found myself back to the front, man, and
yeah.
seeing you and Marcus and Jack, helping you guys with production. It really did give me hope again and really again rejuvenate me to be like, yes, we are still out here doing
Oh,
this
yeah. No, we all
properly. And then seeing you guys, projecting onto the buildings, I was like, man, this is what's up, bro. Downtown LA,
Yeah,
seeing people dancing on their balconies, coming
yeah.
outside, that was
Big old
amazing.
deep logo bat signal on the building over there, like the W Hotel or whatever it is right there.
That was awesome, man. So thank you guys. I can't thank you both enough for
Got it,
continuing to do it, man. It was
you got it.
that was the event that got me again. I was like, all right, I got refilled again.
Any, like, funny or, like, unexpected, like, moments happen in a booth?
Whew, there's been so many, but I'll tell you one story. I was playing at an after hours with Zernel, and I forget who else was playing, and I was closing. Or no, no, Zernel was going on after me, and I was playing from 2 to 4, and then Zernel was going to go on from 4 to 6. And it was right down the street from Spearmint Rhino in downtown LA. So they close at 2, right? So I'm like, I go on, and they had a bass bottom right in front of the DJ booth. So the music was rocking. I forget who was playing before me, but he set me up perfectly. And this is I'm going on, I'm keeping the energy going, and like you said, locked in, right? So I was locked in. Crowd is moving, everybody's having a great time. Next thing you know, just a crowd of really beautiful women just came out of nowhere. And I was like, oh wow, like where did they come from? I didn't know that Spearmint Rhino was down the street until later. So, they're getting in their groove, having their drinks, probably like 30, 40 minutes into the set. Next thing you know, they're standing on the speakers, that little speaker in front of me, using it kind of like a stage. So I'm like, all right, and they're turning around and they're like dancing to me and vibing with me. So I'm just smiling and vibing with them back. And doing my thing. I look up and next thing you know, their pants are off.
Whoa.
Yes, they were wearing, G-strings and
Yeah.
thongas,
Yeah.
but it was off. And I was like, oh shoot. I mean, and the speaker was like literally right there. So every time they would bend over, it was like cheeks were in my face. So I'm like, holy crap, right? And I'm looking over, like, what is this really happening, And then the tops come off, and I'm like, but they weren't wearing bras, So I'm like, what? I was like, what the heck? So
Whoa.
I'm like getting nervous because I'm there with my ex, and I'm like looking at her, and I'm like, so then the promoter comes up, and he was like, "Hey, you okay, man? You seem really uncomfortable right now." And I was like, "Bro, like this is wild, man." Like, I was like, "I didn't know you guys are having go-go dancers," and he was like, "Oh no, they're party goers."
Yeah, they just going. They just came to party.
Yeah, so that lasted, I ain't gonna lie, for like 25, 30 minutes.
Wow.
I was trying to, I maintained my composure. I was very professional about it. Then they came when they were done and they were thanking me and all this stuff and giving me hugs and wanting to take pictures. And then one of them was like, if you ever come to Spearmint Rhino, ask for,
A
uh,
Mercedes.
yeah, yeah,
As for
Alizé.
Ella,
And I'm like, oh, thank you so much.
my name is Lingerie.
Yeah, I was like, oh my, that story, man. Like, and Zernell, when he came out, he was like, bro, I almost feel like you should just keep going, man. You got these girls getting naked. I was like, bro, don't let it fool you. They just came from next door at Pyramid Rhino. He's like, oh shit, okay.
That's amazing.
Oh man, I didn't know. Could I cuss? I'm sorry, I
No,
apologize.
no, you're good. You're
Okay. This ain't going on network television.
No, no, no.
But yeah,
Uh,
that's the story I had to share with you, bro.
that's beautiful. Uh, what advice? What advice would you give new house DJs? Well, it's
You know, one of my nephews started DJing,
uh
and he asked me, "Hey, Theo, like, and he was dead serious about it." I was like, "What advice can you give me? Like, I want to be a big name DJ like you." I'm like, "Boy, I ain't no big name DJ." I didn't
right,
say that, but I was like,
right.
you know what? I was like, practice, 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 practice. Record every set that you can and get to know your records. Even when you're not practicing, put your music on your phone or wherever you use the most and always listen to your records. Get to know your records better than you know your girlfriend.
That's I always somebody asked me, I say, "You have turntables?" Like, yeah. I go, "Well, when you get home tonight, unplug one of your turntables and put it in your closet." I said, get your records, go buy some music, go buy some old music and listen to the music and like listen to the music. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
learn music, learn like where Led Zeppelin put a cowbell in their shit. Like learn like where, Jimi Hendrix, does a wah wah or something like that. Like learn music because in every song you're ever gonna get, there's gonna be special sounds in there, like listen to the later Beach Boys stuff when like um Wilson was, just going a little crazy and like listen to like that shit, you know what I mean? And before you start trying to beat match and all that stuff, like for reals, like get to know like music, you know what I mean? And that's what I try to tell people, I know I asked you the question, but
No, man, it's a conversation.
yeah, 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 yeah. We're having a
So,
conversation.
that I think that's such sound advice as well. I mean, for people like our age, we grew up listening to that kind of music.
Yeah.
that's why we have a love for it, right?
Yeah.
An
Yeah.
affinity for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, younger people, unfortunately, the generation they're coming from, attention is short. So
Yeah.
that brings in.
Attention is short and they're like want like immediate results. It's such a result based driven society now. You know what I mean? Everybody wants thumbs ups and they want likes and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it took a long time for us to get the thumbs ups and all that because we put work in. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
another thing I tell people, is get learn the community, try to cross train yourself in all that is underground, try to help somebody. Hey, you need help at your door, or you need help at your bar, or you know what I mean. And then they'll realize, oh, hey dude, you DJ too, huh? Like, yeah, like, you want to open, like, dude, you've been helping us out so much, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even ask about DJ and stuff. We forgot you DJ'd, you know what I mean? Like give your whole self to this thing, and then they'll see the work that you're putting in, and they'll ask you to come help out even more and open or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you being a DJ should be like the last part of all this stuff. You know what I mean? Get to know the music, get to know the community, get to know how these events are run, from helping passing out flyers to wrapping up cords for the sound guy. And you know what I mean? Like be part of the community. Don't just want to walk in and sidestep and put your hand in there on a break and shit. You know what I mean? Let's put in some work if you want to like seriously hang out, be part of the community, you know?
yeah, I think you're saying is absolutely correct, man. Like being part of the community, creating a network. Um, you know, the network of not just DJs, but the community of the network within the community. Like you said,
Yeah,
bar managers, freaking, the party promoters, the
yeah,
flyer promoters,
yeah,
everyone.
yeah,
Once you eject yourself into being in the community, and then people see, like, all right, he's here to stay. He has a genuine heart. It's all coming from the heart. He has a love for this.
yeah.
You know, you don't even have to ask, like you said. People are going to be offering you opportunity because they know
Yeah.
where your heart is.
Yeah, they see, damn, dude, you always hit us up if we need help. And Brett, and Brock and Brian, they were always like, like when they did like the events in Lake Paris, and I was living in Lake Paris at the time, and I'm like, I hit up Brett, like, dude, I live 5 blocks from the lake. You need any help? Yeah, dude, get here at this time. And then I get there, and what I had to do, I had to unload all the plants that were on stage. Remember those big ass plants and stuff that they had on the stages at Juju Beats, and how sweet it is? Like,
Yeah,
I would get there early and help them lift those off of the truck, and and then finally it was like, "Hey, the VIP area, we need a seat. Hey, you DJ, huh?" Like, "Yeah, dude, come play in the VIP. Slick is here too, right? Yeah, tell him to come play too." You know what I mean? So, just putting in extra work got us extra work. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, I just wanted to help. It wasn't like, "Hey, if I help, maybe they'll ask me." You know what I mean? But yeah, that's maybe in the back of our mind somewhere, but it we we wanted to help, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Genuinely wanted to be a
Yeah,
part of it.
yeah, and it's worked out. Luckily, we're still here, people still wanna hang out with us, people are still asking, "Hey, you coming to my party?" You know what I mean? "Hey, do you
Yeah,
wanna play at our party?" Hey, like, we're lucky and, very fortunate and that people still want us to help them with their soundtrack of their night, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Or just want our energy there, you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah.
yeah. Just to add to what you were saying, I helped so many people in so many ways, and I never looked for a pat on the back or anything. Like,
Mm,
I got people ask me, "Hey, can you help me book this DJ or that DJ?" Like B3, when they first started throwing their parties, Brett reached out. I was like, "Hey man, can you link me up with Shredder? I need a sound." I was like, "Here's his number. Call him. Can you
Mhm.
help me get Mark Farina? Sure, let me put in a word for you." And the list goes on, of helping people. And I never asked to get to play it, nothing like that. I did it because I felt their heart. And I was like, all right, this guy's got something going on here. Let me help them out. Like they can't, if they were humble enough to come and ask for help, then I'm going to help them. Because
Yeah.
when I was coming up doing events, it wasn't that way. I
No.
had to go and stand out outside of parties and wait for these DJs that I was dying to book to walk out because I didn't like bugging them while they were playing. And then when they were done playing, they were interacting with the crowd and stuff. So I would not want to interrupt them while they're, doing their thing, doing autographs or taking pictures and stuff.
Right.
I would respect them and wait. And then I would literally sometimes have to wait forever. And then when they finally would walk out, I would approach them and be humble, like, hey, I want to book you to play. And so, if people want to help out, reach out. And if sometimes, we may not have something for you to do, man, so show up,
Yeah.
and spread the word. That's how you can help.
Spread the word for reals. It don't take much to repost somebody's party coming up, and then they see you repost it, and they know that you're genuinely trying to be part of the community and help out. Like we go to each other's parties, we support each other's bars. Like we're our own little network. Like we're our own little world. It's a way of life for us. Like it's it's an actual really real thing. You know what I mean? It's
Something to share too. I've never really talked about it a lot, or I don't think I'll ever mention it to you. Um, but once I started generating a steady income and stuff, I would buy tickets and give them away to my friends because I wanted to support my friends' parties. Deep,
Mhm.
I paid all the time to get in. Of course, I always would hit you guys up too, like, hey, I want to see Mark. But a lot of times, if I would wait it too long, and because I didn't want to bug you guys a lot, right? You guys already
Yeah,
have expensive overheads. I would just show up and pay. But other parties, including yours too, I would buy tickets and then I would just, hit up my friends and be like, hey, I bought some tickets. You can use my name, go ahead and just go to the door and, they will walk in. So that was one thing that I used to really like. Um, and again, I wasn't like, boasting or putting online or anything, but I would, I guess, secretly buy tickets and give them away. I had a couple $100, I would spend $200 on, $25 tickets. Buy those
right.
tickets
Yeah.
and give them to my friends. That way, they don't have to ask me for guest list.
No, for sure. Oh, totally, bro. No, I hear you, man. I hear you, and it's appreciated. It's appreciated.
Yeah, of course.
So,
I know. But yeah, man. And if those of you listening, don't be afraid to pay to get in, man. Nobody's owed anything. You know, support. Support any way you can. If you could pay at the door, pay at the door. If you could pay for a friend, pay for a friend.
yeah,
Because that $20, $40, that's going to the artist. That's going to production. That's going to go towards somebody who's learning that. It's not just going into the ether. You're
yeah,
actually paying for yourself to be able to have a good time, and so that these people could continue to do their shows and
yeah,
not just break their bank all the time.
yeah. Yes, sir. There it is, my man, Carlos Gunny G Dubs, my bro,
I
fellow neighbor.
appreciate you.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna check this out, and we're gonna see how we're gonna, keep this going. I really like chopping it up with you. Um, and thank you for your insights and your wisdom and your willingness to keep that beat going and keep the wheels turning, keeping it
With
fresh. I really appreciate what you do, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me on. The time and consideration, I really appreciate it. I hope that you continue to do this to
That's
spread
right.
awareness,
Yeah.
and keep doing what you're doing, man. I see you out there grinding, playing at events, promoting, like you said, even with the time that you've already put in, because you put in some time and you put in some work. You're still out there helping people out. You're still helping carry speakers in, putting in lighting, helping light candles. Remember at
Yeah.
Jeremy Stowe's?
Yeah, man.
It's where that humble spirit that you carry, it goes a long way with you. And whenever somebody mentions your name, and I get excited when I hear them talk about Big C. And I don't say no, I just listen and I just smile, and I'm like, that's my boy. But
Uh,
it's always wonderful to hear people talk about you when they don't know we know each other, and
thank
their eyes light up. They're like, oh man, Big C's playing at this event, or I
yeah.
just caught him at Lightning and Bottle, and he, or whatever at Deep, and I just light up, and I'm like, heck yeah, he's doing this thing, boy.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. One love to you. One love to the house music community. I think I'm gonna call these the Give It Up One Time podcast.
I like that. I like that.
I'm known for the Give It Up One Time. So give it up one time, everybody, for G Dubs, my boy. Thank you,
Bless.
brother.